Almost 1 year ago, I uploaded a series of videos going over my roster at 3,000 hours, so viewers and I alike could use it as reference for what an account could look like with that much time poured in. I am here a year later to do that exact thing with an additional 4,000 hours added on. I am now at just over 7,000 hours played, and a lot of things have changed. Please keep in mind, 7,000 hours could look like many different things, depending on if someone focuses more on PvP/GVG, hell rating, life skilling, playing many characters, or only playing one. With all that in mind, let's go ahead and get into the video. To start off the series, there is no better character than, of course, my main, the GOAT Gunlancer, Blue Gunlancer, Haiga. Now, 7,000 hours into the game, what are things looking like? 291 roster level. I have Deathless for all of the 3 current hell modes. Demon's Roar for Bolton, Addicted to the Light for Vicus, Mayhem Shadow for Clown. This is the special equipment, level 70 Stronghold cards. I have KLC 18. I am nowhere near KLC 30. And I have LOS 30 as well. Now, going into the gear, the item level, all that stuff, 1606. I do plan on trying to get 1620 prior to the release of Voldyke in December. So I obviously have some work to do. I do have a little bit of time, maybe like a month and a half before I have to do that. It's going to require a lot of silver. It's going to require a lot of gold. It's going to require a lot of mats. And as you can see, I've been honing my weapon. So some not so smart decisions were made, but we're going to make it work, and we're going to try to push for 1620 so I can do hard Voldyke on release. Now, as you see, hallucination, I'll show you guys the quality of everything just in case people get curious about that. Some people are sticklers. 94 quality on the weapon is the most important one. Hallucination level 3. I am rocking Grudge, Keen Blunt, Cursed All, Barricade, Adrenaline, and Combat Readiness 1. No negatives. This is the hallucination build. I have not played Nightmare in a very, very long time. I usually only play Nightmare when I am in buses. This is the bracelet that I am using as well. And I'm not going to lie, I've been feeling really, really good about hallucination. I haven't had many issues. Sometimes if my support is slacking, I'll have to pop a mana food. But the numbers that I get and the overall combat fluidity feels really, really good. My counters are good. I like having dash upper fire. I don't really struggle for adrenaline. As much anymore. I have Nella in the pocket if need be. And I do damage with the recent buffs that we've gotten, and still yet to come more buffs on the horizon. Blue Gunlancer is feeling really, really strong. Obviously, if I'm playing with other people who are playing stronger classes, I don't plan to outdamage them. When I play with friends in our hard static, for example, there's lots of people with level 10 gems who are very good at the game and have very strong characters. Things like Soul Fist or Arcana, Glavier. They're gonna beat me in damage, but that's fine, because when I have people doing that much damage, I'm not as focused on outputting damage and more so focused on just enabling them to do so, right? I don't want to have to over sweat for damage if I don't have to, right? Sometimes I'll just focus on counters, focus on purifying, and making sure that they're good. Obviously, not like I'm doing Z damage, but not going to be outdoing them, right? Now, on to the gems. I want to cover gems and the skill build together. So gems, I'm rocking level 9s. I have a level 7 for Nella because a level 9 is 100k, and be for real, I didn't really need it for Nella, right? I have 4 damage gems. Shield Charge, Shield Bash, Guardian's Thunderbolt, and Leap Attack are the last 2, and then I have cooldowns for every other skill. I do not run anything for Shield Shock, and I have a level 9 Battlefield Shield cooldown gem. Battlefield Shield is like one of the best things about Blue Gunlancer. It's one of the things I enjoy the most, and it's getting further changes in the upcoming patch, the upcoming balance patch. Whenever we're gonna get the one that Korea just got, it's getting buffed damage wise, and the way it operates is going to be changed as well. So we'll be able to have a bit more meter in the pocket after the usage, which is going to be very, very good for us going forward, for anyone playing Blue Gunlancer, because Battlefield Shield is the identity. It is the thing that makes Blue Gunlancer special. So when I see people not abusing it, it's kind of sad. But I don't think it's entirely their fault, because there's just not as many people using it, especially aside from Hell mode. Hell mode, it's very much so used, but when you're not in Hell mode, not as much attention is brought to it. And in Kyangel especially, you can enable your team to do some absolutely insane damage with it, with Battlefield Shield and with your Defensive Awakening. Now, going into the skill build next, this is the main skill build that I'm using. It's Duff and Nella. I have a skill build without Nella, and I have Shield Shock instead, and I have one with Shield Shock over Dash Upper Fire. if I don't need the counter. But I will go briefly over the tripods. Gale Wind is pretty much static on shield charge. Leap attack, Gale Wind is pretty much static there. I don't like using enhanced strike with leap because I don't feel like I have enough mobility with leap attack. It feels too clunky for me personally. It does a lot of damage and can help if you're having mana issues and you don't want to have mana issues, but I would rather eat a mana food than take off and use the fat leap, because sometimes it's just not it. Nella, I'm usually always using the focus. If you're using Nightmare and you don't need the focus rune, you could put like a quick recharge on it. For shield bash, usually using a quick recharge or overwhelm if I need the stagger. For bash, I'm using bleed. That is pretty static with the stagger, or with the synergy and the ready attack buff. But I don't know if bleed will be as necessary after the patch. I'll have to see if bleed is still affected with bash, because after the balance patch, the ready attack buff is only going to be for our normal skills. It won't be a natural buff to our attack power. So I don't think bleed will be getting the bonuses from the ready attack. But we'll wait and see for that. Shout of Hatred, I'm using a focus rune 131 again because I'm in hallucination. If you're not running hallucination, you can run rage, quick recharge, anything like that there. Dash upper fire, overwhelm, you could use quick recharge, bleed, you could use pretty much anything you want on dash upper fire. I usually use an overwhelm just to help with stagger if there's a stagger check or something. And then legendary Gale Wind on Guardian's Thunderbolt as well. That is usually static. It's your biggest damage skill. You want to get it out as fast as possible, right? If I'm using shield shock, I'm using 131 purify rune or an overwhelm if I'm using it in like a stagger bot scenario. I'll go quickly over my stagger bot stuff. You can pause the video if you need to see the tripods. This is the build that I use if we are doing a bus in Brelshaza, or if we are doing, if I need to put on like a Stagger Bot build for a Kongate 3 or anything like that. I will also show my Stagger Bot build in case anyone wants to see it. I run Spec Swift on the necklace. I have Expertise on the bracelet, and I run Vital Point instead of Keen Blunt. And this is with Nightmare, obviously, because we don't have a support when we do this. So this is the Stagger Bot build. That works fine for me. I also have a Nightmare build that I use when I don't have a support, but I'm also not needing to be a Stagger Bot. So these are all the builds that I have as far as gear builds and whatnot. I also have the Precise Dagger build that I just haven't really been using as much, mainly because when I do the hard content on my characters, I usually have a crit synergy, and so having a crit synergy with Precise Dagger isn't as necessary or isn't as impactful the more crit synergies you have, the more outside crit sources. Now that we got all the builds out the way, this character has felt like a whole lot of fun and has felt very useful in every type of raid scenario, whether it's a con normal, a con hard, Kyengel, Brelshaza. I feel like I get a lot of value out of my damage, out of my purify, out of my battlefield shield, out of my counter, everything. I just feel really, really useful, which is good. Even if I'm not doing the top damage, being able to provide as much DR, purify, and whatnot shows on the MVP screens as well, right? I've had certain times where I get MVPs where it's like 30% damage, but also like 40% stagger, and also like 100% Guardian's defense, right? Or like Sun Guardian, whatever the thing is called for party DR. So I've really been enjoying it. I feel like it's in a really good spot right now, and we still have more buffs and potential changes to come that are only going to help it feel better, right? We're also getting the big thing in the KR balance patch. They got it so that when you're in defensive stance, the monster gauge that you have in raids goes up less quickly. So think Clown, Vicus, Akon. When you have those meters that when you tank certain attacks, it fills up, right? You can get diseased or charmed or turned into a clown or whatever it is. When you're in defensive stance, those will go up slower, which is going to be huge because this class, they encourage you, or at least more so, they used to encourage you to like tank hits, and without being as quick, because you get the 50% move speed reduction in defensive stance. That will be a very nice change for us, and it will make everything feel a lot better. I think that's going to be a super W change. Obviously making changes to Bash where you won't need to take it to level 10 anymore. There's so many things that are just going to be so nice. It's going to make it feel so much better, and it already feels pretty good. So I'm really, really looking forward to it whenever we do get that balance patch. Now, I believe I touched on it earlier a little bit. I do plan on getting to 1620 prior to the release of Voldyke Hard. So I have some work to do, but that's fine. I will take the time when I'm not recording, editing, streaming, or at work to do my Chaos Dungeons, get my silver up, and do all of that stuff. Because I do want to be able to do Voldyke Hard on the first day or on its release so that I can provide that content for you guys and experience it myself. I just have to stop honing my weapon and wasting silver on other characters. But yeah, I believe I touched up on everything that I wanted to touch on. I hope other blue Gunlancers have been enjoying it as much as I have. I think it's been a lot of fun. My friends, I believe, have been enjoying playing with me, which is always a W when you're playing a utility class like this. It's not just about being top damage, because you have so much utility and versatility in your kit that you want to be able to distribute when necessary in the raid, right? So W feels good, does good damage. Other people like playing with it. It's W class. So if you have any other questions regarding my blue Gunlancer setups, plural, let me know in the comments below, or when I am live on Twitch. I am live Wednesdays and Thursdays, almost every Wednesday, Thursday. Definitely every Wednesday. Sometimes Thursdays I'm not, depends on my work schedule, but I am trying to get Thursdays off going forward. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Be sure to catch me on Twitch if you haven't, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't as well. Been your boy Hyga. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys later.